In this video, we are going to create a 2D draft file for this pipe using Siemens NX. This is the final 2D draft file for the pipe. This is what we are going to create. So make sure you stick along with me to the end of the video to know how to create this 2D draft file for the pipe. Make sure you are subscribed and let's begin. We start off in the Siemens NX 3D modeling workspace. And before we start drafting, we have to go into the drafting workspace. So come to your applications. There is drafting here. If you cannot find it here, you can search in the command finder search bar. Then you open the drafting workspace. You first have to select the sheet size. So we use a template and the A3 sheet size. Okay. By default, Siemens NX gives us this title block to use. So if you want to use this title block, you can go ahead and populate or fill the title block with the necessary information. If you don't want it, you can close it and then close any window that appears. We are not going to use this title block, so we have to delete it. In order to select it, you come to View, Layer Settings, and uncheck this check mark under Visible Only and check this one. So we can now select it. So click on it and delete. Now we set up our sheet. So under Drafting Tools, Borders and Zones, you can change the width of the borders here to 10. And then for these marks on the four sides of our sheets, you can change it to left and right arrows, bottom and top arrows. As we can see, there are arrows on the four sides of the sheet. Then we can maintain or delete the trimming marks. So when you delete it, we can see they disappear, but we need it, so apply. And then the margins, which is the space between this dash line and our borders, change the margin to 10 for the four sides. Okay. So this is our sheet template. So we have to add our views. We first have to add an isometric view. And then we add 3 2D views and dimension them. So we first add the isometric view. To add a view, come to base view. The model view to use, set it to isometric. With a scale of 1:1, there's our isometric view. You can come to settings and then set up your isometric view. So come to shading. We need it to be fully shaded so you can see what the pipe actually looks like. For the visible lines, you make them thin. And I think we don't need any center lines on the isometric view. So, okay. And then you come, move your cursor to this side here, click to release, close. So this is our isometric view. Next, you have to add our 2-dimensional views. So again, with the base view, first add a top view with the same scale of 1:1. Can come to settings, and then the visible lines, this time you make them thicker. I think this will be okay. There's nothing here we want to. So move your cursor here, click to release, close. Now we can add the front view here, but since this is a hollow pipe, the best thing we have to do is to add a section view. That would be better than adding just the front view. So you have to cut through the top view to get a section view of the front view. So first I want to remove these center lines. So click and delete. Okay, so this is okay. And then we add a section view, a dynamic view. The method should be simple or stepped. The vector option, you can define so that we select whether it will be a vertical section view, the section line or the plane will be vertical or horizontal. But we need it to be horizontal, so click on this horizontal line. You want to reverse the direction, so we are looking up. So reverse cut direction, specify location. So move your cursor to the center here, click to get the section view. So and move your cursor down. This is our section view. Close. Then we add the side view, the right side view. Again with base view. This time with the right view. The same scale of 1:1 and thickness for the visible line. Make it thicker. Okay. So drop the side view here. Close. So these are our views. These are what we are going to dimension. Now we have to set some preferences. So come to menu, preferences, and drafting. You want to remove the border lines around our views. So come to view, under workflow, remove this border, uncheck this display, apply. Then we want to reduce the thickness of the dimension lines to 0.13 so that we can differentiate them from the actual visible lines of our views. Then what again? We also reduce the thickness of our center lines. And then we increase the height of our dimension text so we can see them clearly. 5 will be okay. So, okay. You can click on this 3D center line and delete it. This is all we need. Now double click on this section view. Over here, we can set up how we want the section view text here to be like. So we increase the height of the text. So this is okay. Next, we are going to add dimensions to our two-dimensional views. So the first dimension we are going to add will be the diameter of the horizontal pipe here. We are going to dimension it on the section view. Now we can't use the radial dimension because this is a straight line. So come to linear dimension. And the measurement method here, we want to use a cylindrical measurement. So from this midpoint here to this line here, you can see it's 50 millimeters. And then again, the diameter of this vertical pipe, click on this line and this line also. You can see it's also 50 millimeters. So click to drop the dimension. Now we have to get the diameters of the holes or the cuts inside the pipe that makes them hollow. So we're going to do that with the radial dimension this time and set the method to diametral so we can dimension the diameters and not the radius. So on the vertical pipe, click on this inner arc. You can see the diameter is 45. The diameter of the outer circle is also 55. And then the diameter of this inner cut, we use the linear dimension again, cylindrical. Click on this line and this line. It's also 45. Next, what are we going to dimension again? We're going to dimension the diameters of this outer circle also with the radial dimension. Click on this circle here. It's also 55. Okay, now the length of the horizontal pipe with the linear dimension this time around with the method set to inferred. You don't need the cylindrical linear dimension again. You can just click on this line. It's 70. And then click on this line also. It's 20. This is also 20. The distance from this center to this line here is 25. From this center to this line here is 35. And we can also get the distance from this center to this line here as 35. I think this will be okay. And these are the required dimensions on the pipe. With these dimensions, you can model this pipe fully. These are the needed dimensions. There is no need to add any more dimensions. So the last thing we have to do is to add a title block on this corner here. So you come to tabular notes. You have to specify the location of the title block. Check all these and set the anchor to bottom right. Number of columns 2, number of rows 5, the column width 70, and the text height, you can set it to, let's say, 5. Okay, so this is, okay, so click on this corner here to release or drop the title block. We can see we can select individual cells. We want to merge these two cells. So click on this cell and then drag to cover this cell also. Right click, merge. You do same for these two cells and these two cells. So with this merge cell, you can customize your title block anyhow you want it to look like. After customizing the title block, you have to tell Siemens NX this is our title block. So we have to define it. Come to drafting tools, define title block, click on this title block here, okay. And now we can fill in the information by coming to populate title block. And we can now fill in the information. So I'll do that quickly. So we can make this bold by coming to settings. You can see we can format the text inside the cell. Make it bold. Okay. You can see this is bold. Close. So we have now customized our title block. Can adjust the views and even the dimensions to suit how you want it to be. And this will be it for the final draft file. You just have to save it in a specific location you want. In my desktop, I have a folder called NX exports. Okay. So model 1 drafts. Okay. After saving this, you can also export it as a PDF file. So come to export. You can export it as a part file, PDF, any other file format, image. You export it as a PDF in the same NX exports folder. Okay. And then we go into the NX export folder. You can see this is our PDF. So this is the final 2D draft file for this pipe. Thanks for watching, and I hope this video helped you out. Make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss any tutorial upload, and I'll see you in the next video.